In this episode, we are going to cover playing techniques of flute, particularly in Indian classical music. To explain us the techniques and to give a demonstration of all this technical presentation, we are invited Pandit Ronu Mujumdarji. Ronuji, namaskar for coming for this episode.
Thank you.
In the previous episode, you have given us information about the origin of flute and some basic information about flute. In this episode particularly, we would like to know about the playing technique of Basuri.
Right. The blowing technique is very simple. You just place the bamboo and the flute or bansuri here. You can see this place like this. You should place the way that the blow directly goes inside the hole. And it is called, if the air goes so much outside, then you get this hissing sound, which is not a good sound. It's not considered a pure sound. So, sound should be very clear and soothing and sweet and deep. And then, my Guruji Pandit Vijay Raghav Rao, who just passed away, went to another world just last month, 30th November. He always said the posture is very important. I mean, you should look good. This elbow should go down and this elbow should go down. I mean, you should look like a picture perfect. This is how you should look like. And then your hand should be straight. Your fingers should be straight. Both the fingers. 3 fingers here. And the thumb, without the thumb, flute is going to fall down. It's very tricky. So these 2 thumbs really holds it. And if some people cannot bend their thumb, then they hold like this. And there are technical limitations and shortcomings, Other way is holding is like this, as I said, which is a 6-hole technique, which is a Panditji follows, Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia ji and Bholanath ji, their legacy. So the finger goes more of a downside, see? This is how they hold. You can see their program and their picture and, I hold like this. And some people also hold like this, which is kind of not followed so much, but it's there. So these are the way of holding the flute. In this way, which is more refined way of more improved technique by Pandit Vijay Raghav Rao, my Guruji, which is a straight fingering, it's called straight. It's easy to touch the 7th hole because what you do, just watch my finger. You're holding this and just shift this finger a little bit and right away go to the 7th hole, which is called Lo Tevra Ma. So this is the technique which was little bit changed by Pandit Vijay Raghav Rao from Panna Babu's technique, Pannalal Ghosh technique. Now you hold this flute. Now I will talk about how you play 12 notes, which is called chromatic scale, or just say as we never say Shuddha Madhyam. For flute players, even Shuddha Madhyam is like a Komal Ma, because it's not Tevra Ma. There's only 2 Ma. One is Shuddha Ma and another one is Tevra Madhyam. So we have to just play Shuddha Ma also in a Komal style. So for us, best example would be out of 10 thirds, let's play all the half notes. We call it a half note technique, which is very, very mystic part of Bansuri playing. Everybody still think about this, which is a better technique, which is an easy technique or whatever. So I will just play Bhairavi That, where there is no open finger. It's very, very difficult to handle because you don't know how much to open. It's called half note, but you just open very little, like a quarter note. It's a quarter note. Because Komal Re is nearer to the Sa and not nearer to the Shuddha Re, according to the Shruti Bhed. Now, just listen to the Bhairavi That. In Pannalal Ghosh half note or Komal note technique, which is like this. From side you open, every finger goes upper side, not the downside. No, this is a wrong technique because you cannot get perfect half note. Another way of playing also I have learned. So I'll show you how Bholanath ji played, which is a folk style, which is followed by his legacy, his followers and his successors like Pandit Hari ji and his disciples, which is opened from the front and getting half note, getting komal notes and getting this kind of any like Bilas Khani or wherever there is a komal note, this technique will come. Now I will not open like this, but I will open like this. Also you can get perfect komal notes. So these are two basic techniques, because whenever there is a komal note, flute is much more difficult than other instrument, because there is no different fretboard or for the komal note, but you have to get by just opening little bit, and which is very difficult, but you can still master it if you practice properly.
So we can say that with these two kind of techniques, you can open that particular hole from lower side or from upper side.
Yeah.
In both ways it is possible. The effect will be same.
Will be same. Yeah.
Now I would like you to demonstrate us, because the student who want to learn Basri or who are learning Basri from whichever guru, I would like you to play all the Shuddha Swaras first. Saregama Padanisa Sani Dhapa Magaresa. Then play Re Shuddha, Re Komal, Go Shuddha, Go Komal. 1, 2, 3 notes.
How interesting.
The demonstration.
Wonderful. Now, if you follow a particular technique, then the only instruction, only important thing is that you should not play Re with this side opening technique and then Ga with the front opening technique like Bholanath ji's style. You have to follow one. Then your mind is set into that. Then you can, when you play fast, you cannot, oh, I have to open like this. You don't have to remember this. You can really play with a lot of flow. So now I will play all the Shuddha note and then I will combine them. Suddenly the Ma becomes Shuddh, or for us Komal. In Pannababu's technique, what will happen? Ma, directly with a lot of practice you can get this perfection, that directly your finger will just go like this, side opening technique. And for the other technique, directly the front opening technique. And for same thing with the Ga. Pa, ga, ga. I'm playing. Front opening technique. Side opening technique. So what happens, by playing hours of practice, hours of dedication, your fingers just go exactly in that position where actually the komal note exists. And with your blowing pressure idea and then vibrato, everything putting together gives you the perfect note. And that is how the Bansuri is mastered, or at least near to the perfection.
Now with all these kind of techniques, and after doing a lot of riyaz, we can say that student can play Indian classical music on flute.
Yeah.
There are certain phrases called as Gaiki Anga, which is also not only sung but also played on various instruments.
Right.
For example, Gamak ke prakar are there, Meend is there, and many more. So we would like you to elaborate on that how the technique is used in playing flute, about getting this gaiki anga, in whichever style they might be performing.
Both the style. These contents are same, and to get that content out, there are various technique which are used. There are two basic techniques which I explained already. So after blowing, mastering the blowing technique, and then getting the sound out of it, you practice the saregama. Then when you go to the alankar section, then you of course do this kind of phrases, like very shortly I'll just demonstrate. These are the alankars, but these alankars do not have any meed or any murki or any khatka, or in that matter kan or upkan. Putting these elements, mastering them, practicing them, helps you to bring all this ornamentation into the gaiki. These are the elements of gaiki. Then you start playing real gaiki after mastering them, practicing them for years. That's the real sadhana. And I always said, before the sadhana there is majna. So majna, when you do like you clean your pots or anything, you really shine them so much that you can even see your face into it. So it is called years of practicing. So first of all, when you do the two kind of gaiki, which is called mead into a gaiki process, which is with the mead, but only mead will not, it's called but only this kind of glide will not give you the actual gaiki. So I'll start with the actual glide, which is called mead, and then I will go to the ghasit. In the olden days, mead ghasit was a similar word.
Mead ghasit girawa.
Yeah. So I'll just play mead ghasit. Now, the flow of gaiki goes like this. Then there is a notation inside. The notation goes like this. There are two kind of notation. It sounds weird when you really recite in the sargam format. If you akar format, it really sounds like gaiki. So I'll just slowly play. So samagama, the upper note is less than the down note. Samagama rega sa will not work. Samagama rega sa. So that leads to a wonderful gaiki. And there are another one which is played so beautifully in the Carnatic music. They're the same, but the effect is a little Another one is little more difficult in the flute, but I can really show you how it sounds like. Difference is sa re sa ga re ma. Can you see the difference? And then this is the other one, which is more used in the Carnatic gaiki. north. And then after getting this meant, glide, and bringing glide mean into this kind of gaiki, which is very important for Indian classical music singing, and still the Western world is really looking for this style. My God, this is a very different kind of singing. And then, but this is not enough. What happens when you create a picture? There are different ornamentation, like kan. How to get a real kan? It's very simple, but you don't use any meal into that. Sa, nisa. That nisa is very short. It's like real, in the Western music term, it's called grace note. You just da, 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 same effect I'll bring in the flute. Upkan. Now kan upkan. The kan which comes from the higher note, that's called upkan. Now upkan is a little mystic part of the bansuri playing, but I have really gone very deep into it and thought about this, how to get upkan. Because if you play tappa, you cannot play perfect tappa in the bansuri if you really want to play without mastering the upkan. Upkans are like that. Sounds very, very different than kan. It comes from the folk music. It's a folk music ornamentations. And then murki, khatka is there. Khatka word is very, very old and very traditional word used in khatakna. Koi baat, something you listen and you are khatka, you are surprised. So khatka should sound like a surprise. And in the gaiki, when you bring 2-3 khatkas in between, it really sounds a perfect musical phrase. Da da na 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 da 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 da. In Bismillah Khan Sahab Shana, you will hear this kind of phrase very often. Then the murkis comes. These are the phrases, these are the ornamentation, these are the very, very important elements of Indian music, which makes your fingers, your music sound complete, and your phrases sound real like a vocal. We have a saying, Uttam Gana Madhyam Bayana. You always try to go near to the vocal. How to go near to the nearest possible? You cannot really do as much as vocal does, because it's the best instrument that God has created. But you know what? You can really sing inside and play bansuri as near as possible to the vocal music.
Now, while playing this khatka, can you explain this? How many notes were used?
3 notes.
Again, some demonstration.
Yeah, it's very important. Very, very interesting question. How many notes used in the kan? How many notes in the kan and khatka? Very fast, very crisp, no stopping in any notes, and you cannot hold the note. You have to end. Sarisa, regare, gamaga, mama, padaba, danida, nidani, sarisa, It's that crispy. So 3 notes. Sarisa, regare, gamaga, mama, padaba, danida, nidani, sarisa. It goes like this.
And about murki?
Basic murki will be simple, but there are then you can keep adding things into the murki as your requirement phrases, and as you feel the murki should sound bigger or small, or just the effect of murki. The basic murki will start like this in the flute. And certain ornamentation you practice for aro, ascending and descending same. But for murki, for descending, avrohan, it will be different. So that you can master re sa ni sa, ga re sa re, ma ga re ga, pa ma ga ma, da ma, also sitar. The krintan comes from that area. I will talk about that also. When you come back, you play Nisarisa, Dhanisani. That's why then you can master both murkis, Ulta and Seedha. Now it's not Resanisa anymore. It is Nisarisa, Dhanisani, Padanida, Mapadava, Gamapama, Regamaga, Sarigare, Nisarisa. Just see how it sounds and how crispy, how it comes inside the phrase after practicing them. Then musicality is, of course, that's the final achievement. There are two kind of murki. Then you keep adding like Sanisa, Sanisa, Sanira, Sanisa. Now the sixth note. That's the basic murki. Now you do. Now it's not Saniresa is not enough. What you do is Saniresa Nisa. Saniresa Nisa. Now when you sing with ease and perfection, and it sounds like the notation is in Kedar. You always intend to quite often you use this kind of phrase. So extended murki, I would call it, and murki's size keep increasing and keep becoming. When it is very small, it's not murki anymore. It becomes katka, or then kan and then upkan and all these things.
You have given us information about basic gaiki structure and its technique, how it can be used or it should be used on this particular instrument. There's another style of gaiki anga that is called as kirtan, which is basically seen on string instrument.
Yeah.
But it's very rarely seen on basri. But we can hear that particular phrases from you. Can you explain us about that?
Yeah. I was very lucky to be associated and to learn directly from Bharat Ratna Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, and from 81 onwards, when I played this Asiad and this Swagat song, which was very popular, At Swagatam Shubh song. So anyway, the Kirtan, then it's basically different kind of murki which is played, but it sounds Kirtana, matlab Janakna or is kind of very stringy sound, you know. So when Mizraf is used in a very different way, so that kind of effect is very difficult to bring in other instrument. Sitar would be the supreme to play that kind of style. Sarod would be also very near second, or probably the same, you know. But very luckily I can bring a little bit of effect where the Guruji's blessing is there. To do that, I don't have Mizraf now, but I have tongue. So any kind of this kind of thing I use also tongue in a very different way, but I will give you some example. Guruji's rag, I am playing Tilak Shyam, and on dha I am using that, so I am using in between. That's a very difficult kind of attempt, but I do, and many years I have done. So in between I will use the tongue, otherwise it will just sound simple murki. So in between da 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 da. So this kind of effect I can play whenever it is required, and I just love to play. This is the effect of the Kirtan.
In today's episode, we have seen the playing techniques of Basri, how to play various gaiki anga on Basri, and how to master it. I will request Pandit ji to end this episode by performing 2 to 3 minutes alap.
I will just play a very nice rag of morning, Bhairav, Shuddha Bhairav, and you will see the effect of Kan. And well, I didn't talk about Andolan. For this kind of rag where the Rishabh and Dhaivat keeps kind of suffocation. That's the old masters have explained about the Bhairav. And not only it is Ati Komal Re, means one Shruti lower than the other Komal Rays, but it also keeps moving between two Shrutis. It's called Andolan. Andolan means what? You go to a particular note and you just try to shake the note. Not so much that it starts sounding out of tune, but just half Shruti down and up. This is called Andolan. And that's very nicely done in the flute. And I really, because I have learned vocal first and then simultaneously I was learning flute. So this Andolan is very important for playing this kind of rag like Bhairav. I'll play very small alap in this. You can see how important this speed of the meent is very slow. It's not the normal Yaman kind of speed. It's very slower than those meents. It's called ghasit, almost ghasit. Now when you go to Dha, after unfolding this section, kind of one chapter, you go to Pa and then you introduce Dha, which is the second most important note in Rag Bhairav. Sa re ga sa ga ma pa ga ma re, the basic Bhairav. But while doing sa ga ma pa, you cannot reduce the importance of re. From Ni to Dha coming is very important because you land in a place where there is a Ati Komal Dha and the Andolan is done. That's called real practice. Now, another thing, this finger gives me Tivrama, but there is no Tivrama in Bhairav. But I was playing Shuddhama. Just by bending, I can get half note and do justice to this wonderful rag. Again, the same phrase, kind of ending of second alap. Perfect, Shuddhama.